Hello yogis and yoginis. Welcome to our first class of the series Chair Yoga for Lower Back Discomfort. So some days we might find that we are just not feeling comfortable in those lower back areas. Maybe it's because we've been doing a lot of sitting for our job. Maybe we've just been on vacation and doing a lot of sitting down and socializing there. This is a great video series, 3 classes that can help us to naturally relieve that lower back discomfort through a series of movements. And as always, when we do our yoga practice, we try to move the body in all of its intended ranges of motion. So we will still do that as well. And we'll just try to lubricate all of the joints on the inside. And when we're finished with our practice, that helps us to feel like a well-oiled machine and at peace at the same time. So we always start our practice off by lifting up the shoulders as high as is comfortable, rolling them back and down. And this is a wonderful way to open up the chest, sitting up tall on our chair, sending the body a signal that it's time to start our practice. If it's not comfortable to roll the shoulders, we can lift them up high toward the ears and then gently relax them back down. So remember, everything that we do in these yoga practices is meant to feel good in the body. It may feel a little challenging at times, and we may be working hard and maybe even working up a sweat, but nothing is meant to feel uncomfortable. So if we're doing something and we are feeling uncomfortable, then we need to give ourselves permission to ease back, either stopping that movement altogether or just making things a little more gentle till we get to a more comfortable place. So when you're ready, let's relax the shoulders back and down, sitting up tall, 2 feet flat on the floor, engaging the abdominal muscles, lifting the crown of our head toward the sky. You're welcome to close your eyes here as we come into some deep breathing. And of course, you don't have to close your eyes if you don't want to. Let's start to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Starting to focus our attention on the sound of our healthy breathing. Noticing that it may sound like the waves of the ocean as they meet the shoreline, or the wind as it blows through a forest of trees. And as we breathe deeply, we hear the sounds of nature surrounding us today. The birds singing their songs to each other. The buzz of energy surrounding us. And as we hear the sound of our own healthy breath, we're reminded to breathe throughout every pose, especially when the poses are challenging for us. Let's keep breathing rather than holding the breath. And we use each inhale to breathe peace and calm into the body and the mind. And with each exhale, we're letting go of judgment, competition, and our own expectations today. Allowing ourselves to be pleasantly surprised by what these healthy bodies can do when given the opportunity. take a few more cleansing, centering breaths, bringing ourselves to this present moment, right here, right now. And when we're ready, let's slowly open our eyes. Now sitting up nice and tall, engaging our abdominals in an active seated position. Let's inhale tall through the crown of the head, and on the exhale, a gentle, gentle turn of the head to look over one shoulder. On the inhale, let's turn the head back to the center, and on the exhale, gently, gently turning to the other side. Inhaling back to the center. Now this time we'll gently tilt the head to one side, feeling that nice stretch through the side of the neck. Inhaling and lifting, lifting. Exhale, gently, gently tilting to the other side. Always remember to listen to the body. Inhaling up. If something's not feeling good in the body, we want to ease back. Let's inhale tall through the crown. And this time on the exhale, let's lower the chin on the diagonal toward the inside of one elbow, feeling that stretch through the back of the neck. Inhaling back upright, exhaling with a chin drop over to the other side. Inhaling and lifting back up. Now let's roll our shoulders back and down. On the next inhale, let's lift one long arm up toward the sky. And on the exhale, bring it down along the body. On the inhale, let's lift the other arm up high. Exhaling down along the body. This is a wonderful way to start to lubricate the shoulder joint, especially if you're guarding your shoulders. Hopefully this is feeling nice and comfortable for you. We're going to use these long arm reaches just a couple more times, and then I'll offer another option for anyone who wants to use it. Now you can continue with these long arm reaches, or if you'd like, let's lift both arms to shoulder height, palms down. Now we're going to turn the palms up and continue those arms up overhead. Exhaling, come down to shoulder height, palms are up, but now turn them down and exhale all the way down. So let's inhale to shoulder height, flip the palms, inhaling still. Exhaling down, flip the palms, exhaling still. So it'll become a fluid movement. Inhaling up, flip, inhaling, inhaling, exhaling down, continuing to exhale. That little flip of the palms is going to protect our shoulders and give us a nice overhead range of motion. Now, if it doesn't feel good to your shoulders to take those arms overhead, you're welcome to just come to shoulder height and then exhale down. Inhaling up, exhaling down. So anytime we lift those arms overhead during this practice today, let's try to remember that little flip of the hands at shoulder height. A few more of these snow angel arms. Last time through. Now let's exhale those arms all the way back down and roll the shoulders back. Let's place both hands here on our lap here. On the inhale, let's press the chest forward with a little arch in the back. That's cow. And on the exhale, let's round through the spine, pulling the abdominals in for cat pose. So we inhale as we press forward. We exhale, rounding into our cat pose. This is a wonderful way to start to lubricate the spine. Getting those good lubricants into all the nooks and crannies of the spine is what our practice can do for us. Inhaling, pressing forward as far as is comfortable. Exhaling and rounding through the spine. A few more times. Now let's come all the way back to our neutral position, rolling our shoulders back and down. On the next inhale, let's inhale the left arm up to shoulder height, watching the tips of our fingertips as we gently twist to the side. Inhaling, bring that arm back to the center. Exhale, releasing. Inhaling, the right arm up, gently, gently twisting as we exhale. Inhaling back to the center and exhaling down. A wonderful way to gently twist the spine. Again, inviting those lubricants in. Lubricating all those nooks and crannies of the spine. And twisting poses can be a wonderful way to release any kind of lower back discomfort. But of course, remember to listen to the body at all times, easing up when we need to. One more time on each side. Now let's relax that arm down. Now we're going to start with some leg extensions. So let's inhale and extend one leg out long in front of us, and on the exhale, lower that foot to the ground. Inhaling, extending through the other foot. Exhaling, back down. So when we use our leg extensions here, sometimes we'll hear some noises coming from the knees. As long as there's no discomfort there, there's nothing to be alarmed about. That noise that you hear coming from those knees is just the displacement of air at the joint. And every time we extend through the leg, we're flexing the foot so that we feel that stretch of the muscles underneath the entire leg. One more time on each side, just flowing these leg extensions, inhaling and exhaling. Now this time we're going to lift one leg up and hold it there and gently circle at the ankle or wave the ankle side to side. Again, trying to lubricate the joint there. If you're using circles, let's reverse them. And then we'll move into a point and flex movement for the foot. Feeling all those muscles of the lower legs and around the ankle joint stretching out for us. Now let's switch to the other side. Let's inhale, extend that leg out in front of you, circling or waving the foot side to side like a windshield wiper motion. Then we'll reverse the circle pattern if that's what we've chosen. And And then we'll move into that point and flex movement. Gearing these feet up for our standing postures. And even if we choose not to stand for the poses later on in the practice, it's always a good idea to take care of those ankles, take care of those joints. Now let's go ahead and place that foot flat on the floor. Now look down at your feet here. The feet should be about hips distance apart. And when we're sitting, it might be hard to tell, well, how far apart is that, Becky? So I'd like to measure it this way. Take both hands into a fist, side by side. Wedge those fists right between the knees and make sure that your bent knees are right above your ankles. That's a good stacked position there. And once we've got the positioning that we want, we can relax the hands. Let's reach both arms down on the diagonal, reaching those arms down in an active way like you could touch the floor. Let's inhale, engaging the abdominal muscles, and on the exhale, gently hinging forward from the hips. And I'm reaching my arms behind me, palms down. This is airplane pose. On the inhale, let's rise up through the trunk and raise those arms in front of us. Let's exhale as we hinge forward. Inhaling, rising up tall, reaching those arms in front of us. Exhaling, and inhale as you rise. Now remember, we're always engaging our abdominals as we hinge forward and as we lift back up, because that's going to help protect our back. This is our airplane flow. A couple more times using airplane flow. Exhale as you hinge. Inhale, lifting, lifting. One more time. Now let's take those arms out to the side. Palms are up toward the sky. On the inhale, let's continue to lift those arms overhead. And on the exhale, swan dive down to a forward fold, reaching as far down as is comfortable for you. On the inhale, let's lift the back to a 45-degree angle, keeping the abdominals strong, and exhale down to forward fold. On the inhale, rising, rising tall, reach for the sky. Exhaling, swan diving down. Inhaling, lifting with a nice strong back, strong abdominals. Exhaling, back down. Inhaling and rising tall. Exhaling, swan dive. Inhaling, lift to monkey. Exhale, down to forward fold. And inhaling all the way back upright. Let's keep breathing and moving, following the pace of our own breath. One more time using these seated sun salutations. Now as we bring these arms down, let's pick up one leg and gently step out to the side, opening up through the hip here. And then bring that foot back in. So we inhale, stepping all the way out to the side. Exhale, bring it back in. Think about drawing a rainbow with the heel of your foot over to the other side and then bring it back in. Inhale, step over. Exhale, bring it back. One more time on each side. We'll inhale as we step over. Exhale, bring it back. One more time. Now come all the way back to the center. Let's slide forward onto the chair. So we're near the front of the seat, but not too close to that front edge. And let's take a wide stance. So again, continuing to open the hips just by having that wider stance. You listen to the body at all times. I'm doing the same thing here. So I'm listening, deciding how open I want to be here, and adjust. And if you open up really, really wide and things are feeling uncomfortable, just walk those feet closer together. Remember, this practice is meant to help us feel good in the body, feel energized, peaceful, strong. We're never looking for discomfort in our practice. That will never be our purpose. So if we're feeling any discomfort, let's make a change. Let's ease back. Now I'm going to place both hands on the tops of my legs here. We're going to do some chest circles. So I want to inhale, pressing my chest out to one knee, circle around the front, and we've got a little arch in the back there. Now round through the spine as you come around the back side. Inhale, pressing forward. Exhale, rounding, pulling those abdominals in. One more time in this direction. Inhale, pressing forward. Exhale, rounding through the spine. Now, let's round again. Inhale, pressing forward. We're going the other way, gang. Rounding. Inhale as you press forward. Another nice way to bring some good movement to the lower back. Trying to stretch things out, especially if you've been feeling some discomfort there. We want to bring some natural relief. And then all the way back to the center. Now, sometimes those chest circles can get us a little bit off center with our seat. So if you need to adjust, come on back to the middle of the front side of your chair. Now we're going to do side angle flow. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bend my left arm, rest it on my thigh. I'm going to reach up and inhale and exhale over to the side. That's side angle. And then I'm going to exhale and bring it back. Straight arms out to the side like a clothesline. Now bend the right arm, lean in for side angle. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, lean in. Inhale, rise up, palms down. Exhale. Now my left palm was turned up there because I took it over the shoulder height. Remember, we talked about flipping those hands when they go over shoulder height. And if you're brand new to yoga, I know all of these tiny little things may seem overwhelming, but I'm telling you, once you get the hang of it, you'll be doing it without even thinking about it. What a wonderful, nice way to stretch through the side body here. We've got those wide hip openers. We're bending through the spine, bringing those good lubricating fluids to that area. Now you might be wondering, I'm talking a lot about fluids today. And you might think, Becky, are you suggesting that we're humming with just a bunch of WD-40 in there? Well, no, those lubricating fluids are called synovial fluids, but they act just like WD-40. They are such a great way to oil up the joints so that you get that well-oiled machine feeling at the end of the practice. All right, last side angle here. Come on back, relax the arms. Now, this next part of the practice, you're welcome to do in a standing position with a wide leg stance, or if you want to stay right here in your seated position, feel free to do that. I am going to show the standing version here as well. We do them both the same way. So if you're going to stand, maybe walk those feet back together first, and let's stand on the mat on the vacant space here. So again, Whether we're seated or standing, all of us are taking a wide-legged stance. So my toes are pointing out on the diagonal. My knees should be pointed in the same direction as my toes. That way I've got good alignment there. Otherwise, things could get uncomfortable. Maybe not now, but definitely after the practice and in the long term. So make sure your knees and your toes are pointing in the same direction. If they're not working together, maybe adjust your toes to get in line with those knees. Okay, so now we've got this nice wide-legged stance. Let's inhale the arms up to shoulder height. On the exhale, we bend through the knees if we're standing, and everybody brings the elbows in toward the ribs. Woo! Inhale, reach out for the sky. Exhale, bring those elbows in. Now, one of the things that we will talk about in our practice is called dynamic tension. And that's about reaching your body parts like your arms, your legs, out to their longest length or activating certain muscle areas. Now, sometimes people will say, well, Becky, I've been doing yoga and I'm not feeling as good and energized as I was made to believe it should be working. And I might say, well, let's see how you're doing these moonflowers, for example. And if people are just kind of reaching out all willy-nilly and really not activating muscle groups, then yes, we're not going to feel much from our poses. But if you are reaching up just as long as those arms can reach, and you're bending through the knees as comfortably as we can for us, I'm telling you, you are going to feel a buzz of energy on the inside of the body that is just amazing. And it's about feeling energy and strength and peace and relaxation at the same time. And I think it's just the most wonderful feeling. All right, let's make a little change, gang. Let's inhale the arms overhead. If we're standing, we need to bend through the knees here, and we're all hinging forward to gather. So inhale, rise up, reach for the sky. Exhale, hinging forward. Think about if we were out there picking strawberries and we're reaching forward for a giant harvest of strawberries. Inhale and rise up. Inhaling in through the nose, exhaling out through the nose. Strong abdominals as we hinge forward and also as we rise up. This is our hinging sunflower flow. One more time. Exhaling as we hinge forward. Inhaling, rising up. Now let's open up to sun pose. Reaching those arms out long, palms up to the sky. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhaling down. Now these big movements of these large muscle systems in the body, they are known to get us warmed up in a good, positive way. So if you're feeling yourself warming up, I am too. And we know that warm muscles stretch much more easily than cold muscles. So don't be afraid to get a little hot and sweaty in your practice. It's very beneficial. Couple more of these sun poses. Exhale, lower the arms to shoulder height. Inhaling up one more time. Exhale that arm down. Come all the way back up, and let's lower both arms all the way back down. Let's step those feet to hips distance apart, whether you're standing or seated here, okay? So now, with both feet hips distance apart, let's reach back with both arms, opening up through the chest. This is called chest expansion pose. And it's a wonderful way to undo any unintentional slouching you might have been doing earlier in the day, earlier in the week, this month, this year. Now let's round through the spine like you're giving a tree a big hug in front of you. Pull those abdominals in. Inhaling, opening up. Exhaling into a tree hug. Open as you inhale. Exhale as you round. If we're sharing this practice together in the morning, maybe think about using those inhales to breathe in all the promise of a new day. And if it's nighttime when we're sharing this practice, maybe breathe in all the tranquility of a peaceful night ahead. One more time in each direction. Now let's come all the way back to the center, rolling these shoulders back and down. Now we're going to continue to warm up the body here. If you're seated, you can do the same monkey flow from your seat. It's the same one we did earlier. If you're standing, it's just going to be a little bit different. Let's step back away from the chair so there's no danger of running into it here when we hinge forward. Both feet flat on the floor for everybody. Let's inhale the arms overhead. Put a little bend in the knees if you're standing, and swan dive to a forward fold. You might be able to touch the ground. If not, no worries. Just rest those hands anywhere on the legs where they feel comfortable. On the inhale, if you're standing, we're coming up to a flat back. If you're seated, use that 45-degree angle for the spine. Exhaling down, little bend in the knees, standing folks. Rise up as you inhale, everybody. Swan diving down. Forward fold. Inhale, lifting to monkey with a strong back and abdominals. Exhale, down to forward fold. Rising, rising as we inhale. Swan diving down. Always bend the knees on the way down and on the way back up. That's going to help protect our back. Again, this monkey flow is another good way to keep the body warmed up during our practice. One more time using monkey flow. Swan diving down, inhaling to monkey, exhale, forward fold, rising tall as we inhale. And let's lower those arms all the way back down. Now, if you feel comfortable standing for this next part, we're going to turn our seat cushion away from us so that we can use the longest length of our mat here. Now I'm going to stand behind my chair with my feet hips distance apart. We're going to start with Warrior One today. So I'm going to take my right foot and step as far back as I can with the whole foot still connected to the ground. So let's take that whole right foot back, place that whole right foot on the floor. Now if you're thinking, Becky, I'm stepping as far back as I can, but I can't get the whole foot to come down to the ground. No worries. Move that foot up until you can get that firm connection on the ground, okay? Now if I look at my chair legs, my left foot is still in line with my left chair leg, and my right foot, even though it's far back, is in line with my right chair leg. That says to me that we have maintained a good hips distance apart with our feet, which is a sturdy stance. So we're in a good foundation here. Now I'm going to look straight ahead. In Warrior One, we want to point out a couple things. The left knee here should be bent and stacked right above the ankle or slightly behind if you're guarding the knee. Both hips facing forward, shoulders, head facing forward. Now I can hold on to the chair here if I'd like, or I could let go, maybe with one hand, maybe with two hands. And always make sure that we're engaging the abdominals to stay nice and sturdy and balanced in the pose. Shoulders are right over the hips. So we don't want to be forward. We don't want to be way back. Shoulders over the hips. So I'm going to put one hand on the chair, one hand on my hip, looking straight ahead into the distance with a soft gaze through the eyes. This is Warrior One. Let's take 3 more breaths. Now, when we're ready, we're going to leave that left foot exactly where it is. Gently, gently, while holding on to the chair here, I'm going to pick up my right foot and step back as if I'm standing on a balance beam here or a surfboard. So my left toes are still pointing forward. My right foot is now parallel to the back of the mat, and they're in alignment like I'm standing on a balance beam. So I'm going to look out over my left shoulder. I'm going to lift up, looking out over the right shoulder, lifting up through the left arm. So this is a version of Warrior Two where I'm holding on to the chair for extra stability. That's always an option. If I want to let go of the chair altogether, I might also lift up through the right arm, looking out to the tip of my right middle finger for Warrior Two. Now, another option here you might enjoy is a flowing Warrior Two. You're welcome to stay still though if you'd like. If you want to flow the pose, inhale the arms overhead, straightening the front leg gently, then exhale back to a bend in the knee. Inhaling up, exhaling to that bent knee. Sometimes I like to hold the poses. Sometimes the body tells me, let's get some movement going, Becky. So this is a nice option whenever you want to use it. Always think about these flowing options. One more breath. Now let's come on back to Warrior Two. Now from here, I'm going to turn my left palm up to the ceiling or the sky, reach forward gently to lengthen the spine, and gently, gently tilt the upper body back. This is Reverse Warrior. And I can either look up to those high fingertips for a balance challenge, or just look right past that arm, looking straight ahead. Feeling that arch in the back here, opening up through the whole front body. 2 more breaths in Reverse Warrior. Now let's come all the way back to Warrior Two. Now this time, I'm going to rest my left hand on the chair and lean in. So I'm bending the knee a little more, leaning in for side angle pose. Feeling that wonderful stretch all the way down through the left side of the body. Let's take 3 more breaths. Rotating that that left shoulder back so that the chest is nice and open. 1 more breath. On the next inhale, lift, lift, lift with your trunk. Relax those arms and step all the way up to the back of the chair. Now let's take a walk back, holding on to using both hands to hold on to the chair. Let's take a walk back, both feet flat on the ground, creating a 90-degree angle here underneath the body. Let's press back through the tailbone, coming into Downward Dog. This is a wonderful way to lengthen through the spine. We're engaging our abdominal muscles. Straightening through the legs only as much as is comfortable for you. You can certainly keep those knees bent if that feels better. 2 more breaths in Downward Dog. Now let's take a moment here. There's an option of wagging the dog's tail by moving the hips gently side to side. I know it sounds kind of silly and it might feel silly, but it is a wonderful way to stretch out the spine and that lower back, which is what we're looking for today. Now when you're ready, bring those wagging tails back to the center. Let's walk all the way up to the back of the chair, standing up tall. Let's roll the shoulders back and down. Now again, let's find our feet to be hips distance apart. So if I look down at my frame here, I find my hip bones, which are right in here. They're not out on the side. They're right in here. I'm going to find my hip bones and head south. And that is going to be hips distance apart. And if I'm behind my chair, we'll notice that it's just about as wide as the chair legs, which is a helpful tool to use. So now we're going to do all the warriors on the other side of the body, because we always want to do things on both sides of the body to even out the practice. Let's take our left foot back. Step back as far as is comfortable, maintaining that whole foot's connection to the ground beneath us. Check out the knee. I should be able to look down and still see my toes down there if I've got some good knee and ankle alignment. Rolling the shoulders back. Again, you can hold on to the chair or not. It's up to you. Looking straight ahead into the distance. Engaging the abdominals. Using a soft gaze through the eyes. Warrior one. Now from here, again, let's leave that right foot where it is. I'm going to hold on to the chair for extra stability help. Let's pick up the left foot and gently step back into that warrior two position, looking out over the right middle finger or the right shoulder if I'm still hanging on to the chair. Now last time we used a flowing warrior option. We can do that here if you'd like. Inhaling the arms up with a straightening front leg. Exhale back to a bend in the knee. Two more breaths, keeping those abdominals engaged for help with our balance. Coming all the way back to warrior two. Now let's relax. Actually, before we relax the arms, let's turn that right palm up to the sky. Reaching forward, gently, gently. Rise up with that arm. Letting our left arm rest on the leg behind us. Reverse warrior. Now let's come all the way back to warrior two. This is where we're going to rest our right hand on the chair top. Bend through the knees a little bit more and come into that side angle pose. Remember, you can take breaks whenever you need to. You don't have to stay in the pose the whole time if you need to stop. Rotate that left shoulder back to open up the chest. 3 more breaths. Now let's come all the way back to warrior two. Now we can relax the arms, stepping all the way up to the back of the chair. Okay, so we're going to just turn the body. We can still use the chair here for stability help if we need to, but if it's comfortable to do so, let's relax the arms, both feet flat on the ground, hips distance apart, rolling our shoulders back. When you're ready, let's inhale. Inhale, reaching the left arm up as high as is comfortable, and then let's take a side bend. Holding the side bend, but breathing rather than holding the breath. One more breath. Inhale, lift, lift, lift with these strong trunk muscles. Relax that arm down. Now let's inhale the right arm up. Reach as high as you can to lengthen the spine first. Ooh, and then come into that side bend. That feels so nice. Now this pose could also be done sitting in the chair if you don't want to stand anymore. One more breath. Inhale, lift, 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 lift. Relax that arm down and roll the shoulders back. Let's bring both hands together at heart center. Palms pressing together, feet flat on the ground. Let's inhale and engage the abdominals, sitting up or standing up tall. On the exhale, starting below the navel, start to gently, gently twist the trunk toward one side of the mat. This is our standing or seated spinal twist. And we always want to be nice and long through the spine before we go into the twist. So think about elongation before rotation. Now when you're ready, gently, gently use those trunk muscles to come all the way back to the center. Let's try the same for the other side. When you're ready, let's inhale, engaging the abdominals. On the exhale, gently, gently, gently turning toward the other side of the mat. Now gently, gently unwind yourself back to the center. Relax those arms and roll the shoulders back. Now this next pose that we're going to do for some standing balance work is called swinging gait. It's a nice way to open up through the hips again. There are some moving parts, but there's always options. So let's just start from the beginning. If you're standing beside your chair, you want to keep that foot on the ground that's closest to your chair. And I'm going to lift up the opposite leg. So for me, I'm lifting up my left leg to a bent knee. And this bent knee can be up high, like I'm sitting in a chair, or it can be all the way down to toes on the ground and everything in between. I'm also going to take the option of reaching my left arm out to the side. So on the inhale, let's inhale tall and take that that left hip out to the side as my left arm comes in. On the exhale, I close the hip and I open the arm. So I'm going to open the hip on the inhale, the arm comes to the center line, exhale, bring it back. Now, maybe you don't want to use the extra arm piece. Maybe you're just going to flow out to the side as we inhale and back to the center. Maybe you don't want to hang on to the chair, so you're going to let go here. Remember, lots of options for this leg. I could even just pivot that leg with toes on the ground. Lots and lots of options here. So think about what you're looking for today. Nothing is required, so use the options given as you'd like. One more time, inhaling that hip out to the side. Exhale, let's bring that leg down. Now, the easiest way that I have found would be to just turn around to do the other leg here. So you can just turn around if you want to. I'm going to do that myself. I'm going to hang on to the chair. I'm going to lift that outer leg to that bent knee. I might also extend that same side arm out. So let's open as we inhale, opening the hip. Exhale, closing the hip. Remember, lots of different options for the height of that lifted leg. You don't have to move all the way out to the side with that knee. Just do what's comfortable for you. You don't even have to move these parts if you don't want to. Just lifting up that one leg is good balance work. 2 more times. Last time through. Now relax those legs. Shake them out a little bit. Okay, now whether we're seated or standing for this next part, let's inhale both arms overhead. If you're standing, put a little bend in the knees as we swan dive to a forward fold. On the inhale, lift to monkey with a strong back and abdominals. Exhale, down to forward fold. Little bend in the knees for the standing folks. Always protecting the back. Swan diving down. Inhale, lift to monkey. Exhale, down to forward fold. Rising tall as we inhale, swan diving down. Inhaling to monkey. Exhaling, forward fold. Rise up on the inhale. One more time through. Now let's bring those arms all the way back down. If you haven't turned your seat forward yet, go ahead and do that now. If you have a yoga strap that you want to use here, now is the time to get it. And remember, you don't have to have a professional yoga strap. You can have a bathrobe tie, a belt, a towel, anything that'll do to help you just bring a little bit of length into your arms. And you'll see what I mean here. All right. So with my yoga strap, as I'm sitting tall on the chair, I'm going to lower the strap down to the middle of either foot, and I'm going to keep my other foot flat on the ground as I sit up tall. Let's lift that leg out in front of us, extending it long. On the inhale, let's open that leg out to the side, and on the exhale, bring it back in. Now remember, even though it seems like the hip is the only thing that's working here, remember we're keeping our posture tall and activated at the same time. So let's not get cozy through the spine. We want to stay active and engaged through the trunk. Inhaling as we reach that leg out to the side. Exhale, bring it back in. Another nice way to open up through the hips. Let's take one more time. Exhale, inhale out to the side. Exhale as you bring it in. Now let's switch over gently to the other foot here. Let's extend that leg out long in front of us. Inhaling, sitting up tall, taking that leg out to the side. Exhale as you bring it back in. One more time, flowing out to the side. Now let's go ahead and bring that foot down. Go ahead and just put your strap over to the side. Now we're going to use another pose that is really beneficial for any lower back discomfort. It's called thread the needle. So thread the needle is going to involve a couple different things that we've already practiced today. It's going to use a hinge forward from the hips at a 45-degree angle, and then you're going to take one arm under the other, and it'll look like you're threading a needle. So let's do this first. Let's rest both hands flat on our upper legs on the lap here. Let's inhale, engaging the abdominals, and on the exhale, come forward to that 45-degree angle. Now I'm going to reach my left arm forward just a little bit here. Let's inhale, lengthening through the spine. And on the exhale, take that right arm and thread it underneath of the left. And you can just let that left arm hang down. So what we've got here is a hinge forward and a little bit of a twist here through the trunk. Breathing rather than holding our breath. Now on the next inhale, let's bring that arm out from under the other, sitting all the way back up tall. Let's roll our shoulders back. So again, let's inhale, engaging the abdominals. Exhale, hinging forward to that 45-degree angle. Inhale, lengthening through the spine. And on the exhale, take that left arm under the right. So we've got a little bit of a twist there. You might even look out to where that left hand is reaching. Now gently bring that arm back out, lift back up forward. On the next inhale, let's press the chest forward. And on the exhale, let's round through the spine, coming back to cat and cow. Inhaling forward, exhaling as we're rounding. And cat and cow is another one of these poses, whether we do it seated here in a chair or on all fours on the ground with the mat. Wonderful, wonderful way to release any discomfort from the spine in a natural way. One more time in each direction. Now let's come all the way back to the center, rolling our shoulders back and down. Now we're going to move up toward the front of our chair again. The first pose I'm going to offer is butterfly pose. So I'm gently going to bring the soles of my feet together with the feet resting on their sides. And I'm going to roll my shoulders back and down. This is a wonderful way of opening up the hips in butterfly. And it's a gentle hip opener, which is another thing that I like about it. When I'm on the chair, I add a chest opener by rolling the shoulders back, and I hold on to my seat because I am seated toward the front of the chair. So stability help, but also a chest opener. Now, if you're looking for a more of a hip opening, rather than using butterfly, another option that you might try, and you're welcome to stay in butterfly here if you'd like, is to put one foot flat on the ground, still sitting at the front of my chair. I can either just lean one leg out to the side with a bent knee, or maybe if it's comfortable, I'll bring my left ankle to rest above the right knee. And this is going to be a little bit more of an intense hip opener for the hip of your bent leg. Now, some people sit this way all the time, so they may not feel like anything is happening in the hip. So if that's the case for you, there are some more options that can intensify this hip opener. You might rest your left hand on the left knee and gently, gently press. Now notice that knee is not going to go very far when you're pressing down, and we're not pressing down hard, we're just easing that hip open a little bit more. And if you're still not feeling any action there, then you want to, another option is called happy hips. So I'm going to flex the foot of the foot that's resting on the bent knee, and that turns on all of my lower leg muscles and behind the leg muscles. Let's inhale, engaging the abdominals. On the exhale, let's hinge forward until we get to a stretched out, good feeling here in that hip of the bent knee. Now on the inhale, let's lift all the way up. If you're using butterfly pose, you're welcome to stay in butterfly because it's opening both sides of the body. It's a very balanced pose. If you want to join me for happy hips, remember, you can open up that other leg with the foot at ground level, or you can take it up to the knee level as another option. Now, hips can be flexible in different ways. So one hip might be more flexible than the other on the same person. So I want to flex this foot to stretch out all the muscles, check in with the hip of your bent knee, and decide, do I want more of a stretch, or do I want to stay right here, or do I want less of a stretch? That's where listening to the body comes into play. Maybe I'll add that gentle press on the knee. Maybe I'll add the happy hips hinge option. Let's inhale, engaging our abdominals, hinging forward from the hips, still listening to the body at all times. Now let's come all the way back upright. Let's put that other foot down on the ground. If you're using butterfly, let's bring those feet back to hips distance apart. Let's take our right hand and rest it on the left knee. Let's inhale tall, engaging our abdominals. And on the exhale, a gentle twist to the side. You might leave that left hand just resting at the hip. You might choose to hang on to your chair frame. It's always up to you. Sitting up tall, feeling that wonderful twist through the spine. Thinking about breathing good, nourishing oxygen into the body and letting go of any lower back discomfort as we exhale. Now gently, let's unwind back to the side. Let's take our left hand and rest it on the right knee. Inhaling as we engage the abdominals, standing up tall or sitting up tall. And on the exhale, start below the navel again. Twisting toward the other side of your chair. Now gently, let's come all the way back to the center, rolling the shoulders back. Now let's sit all the way back in our chair, preparing for Shavasana, which is always our final practice pose. Shavasana is translated to corpse pose. So a lot of times you'll see people laying down on the floor, legs just relaxed apart, resting the arms on the ground, looking much like a corpse in that position. But you don't have to get on the floor for corpse pose or Shavasana. You can just sit all the way back in your chair and relax just the same. Now here's what we want to remember about Shavasana pose. We want to try to quiet the mind of any stray thoughts as best we can. We want to allow ourselves to find some good rest for the physical body and the mind. And we always let go of expectations and just allow this rest to come to us in whatever form it takes. If you fall asleep, don't worry. Hopefully, when you're watching this, one of your family members or friends will happen upon you and say, "Hey, what are you doing sleeping?" And they'll wake you up and get you back to where you need to be. But let's go ahead and just relax here. You're welcome to close your eyes if you'd like, but you never have to. And let's come into some deep breathing. In through the nose and out through the nose. Using each inhale to breathe peace and calm into the body and the mind. And with each exhale, we're letting go of stray thoughts and allowing ourselves to be present in this wonderful place of rest and recovery. Let's begin to slowly awaken these bodies from this balancing rest. Let's bring a little movement into our toes and our fingers, gently waking them. Starting to breathe a little more deeply, filling all parts of this physical body with good waking energy. For those who are lying down on the floor for Shavasana, let's gently hug the knees in toward the chest, maybe gently rocking them side to side to massage the lower back. And again, if you chose to sit for Shavasana, try that method of laying down and hugging the knees in close and rocking the knees side to side for another wonderful way to release or reduce any kind of lower back discomfort. Now, if you're laying down on the ground, let's gently roll those knees over to the floor on one side. And when you're ready, gently make your way back up to an upright position. Let's all bring the palms of our hands together at heart center and start to rub the hands vigorously to warm them. And let's use our warm hands to gently cover our closed eyes. And that wonderful heat that we find there is inviting our eyes to slowly open, and we gently bring those hands down to rest upon our lap. Thank you so much for joining me today for this practice. I'm hoping that if you're having lower back concerns, maybe the lower back is feeling a little bit better for you. If you're not having any concerns in that area, I hope you're feeling wonderful as well. Thank you for joining me today. Namaste.